Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the today's Restaurant News Networking Group 11 o'clock meeting. I'm Howard Appel. I'm the founder and publisher. I'll be your safari leader for today. We are a group of restaurant vendors who are here to help each other grow our businesses and to help any restaurant owner, manager, or chef with any problems or concerns they might have about running their business. We're here to help you. If you'd like to contact us, give us a call at 561-620-8888. Go to our website at trnusa.com and check out our YouTube channel, which is Today's Restaurant, and make sure you subscribe so you'll get a notice when a new video is posted. And we've got over 300 videos already posted. And hit the like button. And that's not for any reason other than YouTube will promote the channel with the more likes that we get. So it's not for ego, it's for our own success. So please do that. So today I'd like to do our regular routine, regular intros, and then we're going to have a discussion about information about opening a restaurant prior to selecting the space. And I think anybody who's opening a restaurant should pay close attention to some of the things that we had in group at 9 o'clock. And I'm sure we'll get some great information today from this group. So let's start our intros today. And we're going to start out with Mark Brilliant.
Good morning. Hello there. Yes, this is Mark Brilliant from Brilliant Computers. Take care of the technology as best as we can. Obviously, we know we want to keep our stuff backed up. We're also releasing the remote managed services to try and keep an eye on systems to be proactive. So if there's an issue on your system, we would know about it most likely before you would. Other than that, Brilliant Computers trying to keep the world going one computer at a time.
And how do we reach you?
Reach me, my cell phone is 561-866-2983 or mark@brilliantcomputers.com. And I'm sending on in the chat right there some more information.
Okay, thank you. Randy, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Randy Pumputis here with Heartland Payroll and Payment Solutions. We are the exclusively endorsed payroll and payment provider of the NRA and all state associations. I proudly serve on the Florida restaurant. We do everything for clients from startup to multi-locations, acquisitions, and companies moving into the state of Florida, as well as nationwide. 1 in 3 companies moved their payroll solutions in the month of December and January. So a lot of volume, pretty crazy month. You can reach me at 585-622-2993.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to our 3 amigos are here today.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, start us off, John, with your...
Ready for the trivia? I got a joke, too. I'll save the joke for later. What is the first soft drink in the United States?
RC Cola?
Pepper.
Nope.
Knee
What
high.
did Chris?
Knee
What
high.
did Chris say?
Root beer?
I think Chris got it. What'd you say, Chris?
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper was our first soft drink in the United States.
Really?
Wow.
And who was
Yep.
Dr. Pepper?
I think that was just the name of the drink, wasn't it?
We went to the Dr. Pepper.
He was the head of the Lonely Hearts Club band.
Yeah. It came out much later, 67.
Friends of the Beatles. That was before he got his doctoral degree.
Yeah, and Mrs. Salt soft drink didn't work out as well.
That's great. Learn a lot from you, John.
Charles Alderton.
That's the way
Charles Alderton, 1880, created Dr. Pepper.
Wow.
Charles
It was right
Alderton,
before
1880.
and Dr. John Pemberton
For
invented
Coke.
Coca-Cola,
Been around for a
which
long
actually
time.
did contain cocaine and alcohol in it. That's how they got the name.
Right.
Right.
It's
That's why
still
it was addictive. That's how they increased their sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still is.
Guy standing on the corner, go, you want a Coke?
Well, it was such a very small, almost untraceable amount. And they actually took the cocaine out 5 years before cocaine became illegal.
They still do extraction for it over in New Jersey for Coca-Cola. And
Well,
they do still have it, but it's in a different format. And it's right in Jersey. And
you have
near
to if you're in New Jersey.
Paramus, New Jersey.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a licensed place for it.
Wow.
Can anyone hear the noise in my background? We have companies that are moving in, and
No, can't hear it.
I just think it's in your head, Terry.
everything's in my head. It's the Coke. No.
All right, you Three Amigos. You want to tell us what you do, Chris?
Sure.
Sure. Kevin, you want to go this time?
Sure, no problem. Hey, everybody. You like my my trees in the background?
Yeah.
Happy Friday. We're strategic supply chain partners. We are full service hospitality consulting company serving primarily restaurants, hotel chains, small to medium-sized companies that really need help and support and how they buy through their distributors, how they're structured within manufacturer rebates and deviated pricing. We go in to these companies and we really analyze how they're structured in their distribution agreements. We renegotiate those agreements on their behalf. We find them a better purchasing platform with the distributors that they work with. We negotiate pricings with the manufacturers and get them better pricing in that way. We're saving an average of over 10% with our clients that we currently have in our portfolio. We also are 100% contingency. Basically, we're just sharing in the savings. We go find money that's going out of pocket. We recapture those funds on behalf of our clients, and we just share in the money that we bring back to the company. We do a lot of other services outside of that, depending upon what our clients' needs are. So we have a whole variety of other services, and we also tap into the TRN group here and try to network with the group here and see if there's some opportunities for them as well in supporting and adding value to our other clients that they may be able to bring some additional services to. Chris, you have anything that you want to add, or John?
Yeah,
You did a pretty good job there. Kevin, do people know why you switched over to SSC from your previous job?
Well, I don't know that. Both Chris and I, we both were owner operators of restaurant groups, and I actually brought SSCP into a restaurant that I was an owner with up in Central Florida. Took over a very high volume location with the intent of building 10 more, and partnered up with an investment group, and they had a really super high food cost. We were at 38.2%. I reached out to SSCP because I knew the partnership from past live experiences and brought them in. They renegotiated my distribution agreement and found an enormous amount of other incentives from the distributors. And over the 2-year period, we dropped our food costs from a 38.2 down to a 32 down to a 32.6%. So almost a 6% reduction. It was about $300,000 in savings. And that was just for one location.
Wow.
And then we had the platform set up to build the second one, which we did. And then I sold my interest right as COVID started taking over the industry. So I got out with most of my hair still on my head.
Good timing.
Yes, I'm missing this part right here, but you can reach us at www.ssc.partners, or you can give me a call directly at 407-497-9495. Again, we're a free service. So
Okay. And I want to thank you for sending me that article about AI, robotics. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to open it.
Oh.
But if you want to talk about that for a second. if you remember it.
Well, yeah, I remember. Yeah, for sure. We subscribe to a number of different industry publications, Nation's Restaurant News, Fast Casual, to name a few. And so every week I get articles in from those organizations, and they're basically other digital newspapers and publications. And there's been an enormous amount of AI conversation going on, and a number of articles around robotics, which John probably could talk to. So there's a lot of, especially in the fast food industry, especially, but it's certainly growing elsewhere. There's a lot of focus on what can AI do to help simplify operations, make better business decisions, really understand how a business functions and where they can make very quick moves in their decision making versus it being a prolonged process. And the article that I sent you, Howard, was 7 or 8 very high level industry executives within a lot of the pretty dominant fast food concepts that are really just diving right in on AI and really using that to best leverage their business. And then there's a lot of articles going on about different types of robotic companies that are putting different equipment into restaurants that are going to reduce the amount of team members that they're going to need going forward. And there's, using robotics to really create more functionality inside their business, have less of a labor shortage issue. And I expect to see that, continue on. And it's a lot in the kitchen, not only in the front of the house. We've seen those robots running around, running food to tables and stuff like that, but it's a lot of equipment related and, cooking devices and preparation devices. So it's going to really change the industry. I think both of those segments, AI and robotics, are going to change the industry for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, the robotics is growing like crazy. I read the other day that they developed a robot that can read Braille 10 times faster than a human being. And it's just crazy. It's really exciting stuff, but it's scary at the same time.
Sure. Yeah.
Did I tell you guys about the McDonald's restaurant in Texas that didn't have anybody working there?
Yep.
I just
And
wanted
their
to say
expectations have doubled.
Yeah, they don't have one employee, I don't think.
No.
Nobody?
Everything's automated.
They, when you open up a restaurant,
Kevin,
you have a target goal.
Kevin, I wanted to ask you something.
Yeah.
Kevin, I wanted to ask you something. Comparatively speaking, if let's say cost effectively, if they put robots in restaurants, and I've seen them serve, and take orders and things like that. Mm-hmm. The fact is it costly to maintain these robots, to fix them, as opposed to hiring workers and paying them a salary, or what's more cost effective?
I honestly, I really don't know what the cost of the equipment is. I'm sure it's pricey, and as time goes on, it'll probably drop in price. But I think there's businesses that can have that as a service. Inside of their business, they can function well with robotics. Obviously, those companies that are more guest centric, that are interactive related, really would hurt their business. So they would always need to have some form of human interacting with the client, with the guest. But certain tasks in the kitchen that are repetitive tasks. For example, I was looking at a video of there's a robot that actually there's a dough, and it just shaves noodles off, and it drops it right into a boiling pot. And for somebody to physically do that repetitive labor and just sit there and shave noodles into a pot all day long, first, could you find somebody that would be willing to do that? And if you could, how much would they want to get paid versus using a robot and making that investment? So I think there's going to be those type of jobs that most people don't want to do anyway, so it makes sense for them to bring a robot in and do it. but I have no idea what the cost implications are, frankly.
I think it has to do more. I think it's a matter of the restaurant's preference, what they like. Do they want workers to represent, the customers opposed to robots? I guess it's a matter of preference. I mean,
Chris,
I don't know.
you want to jump in? I know you
Hey,
do.
the answer is very simple. I worked with a client who was building a food manufacturing plant, and they were putting a lot of robotics in to handle it. So hard cost wise, it gets a little difficult to justify the investment, but the soft cost that you have to consider, cost to your business when a cook doesn't show up for work. Okay, the robot shows up every day. Okay, the robot doesn't have to take a break. The robot, unlike your employees, you want it to work 24 hours a day, shaving noodles, you can program it to do that. Okay, the robot doesn't need workers' comp. The robot doesn't need benefits. The robot will never complain it needs a raise. So, and I know that sounds brutal, but in an industry where nobody can find employees anymore anyway, and how many restaurants do y'all see are closed Sunday, or they're closed Monday, or they're closed Sunday and Monday, or they're closed Monday and Tuesday, or they used to be open for lunch, now they're open for dinner? It's all because they can't get staff. So the math is easy. It may cost you more to buy a robot up front, but it will pay for itself time and time and time and time and time again. Is there maintenance cost? Yes. There's also specific programming issues with robots. You have to be, if you want a robot to like take stuff that it preps on a sheet pan and then go into your cooler, there's like precise measurements that have to be taken for it to execute that task. But once you get that done, it'll do it forever. Here's the other thing. The average cost of turnover an employee in a restaurant business is over $5,000 to hire a new one and retrain them. In an industry where it's 100% turnover and you have 100 employees times 5,000 costs you how much a year? Anybody want to do that math? High volume restaurant?
$500,000.
I think the numbers are
$500,000.
How many robots can you buy for $500,000? Quite a few, and you'll never be replacing them 100% annually. So the math is actually pretty simple.
I want to fold this conversation into what we're going to do after the intros, because that's part of the beginning. Are the three amigos complete? Finished? John, you finished?
For now.
All right.
Now.
Thank you. Let's go. Terry Ark.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Terry. I'm with Creative Business Impressions. I have been in the promotional products industry for over 20 years now. Last year was my 20-year anniversary. Wow. Started my own business back in 2018, and had been working for other companies because I like to have one-on-one in-person and person-to-person customer service with my customers. This morning, I would like to just share a new concept in imprinting that is coming come into our industry, and I hope this is clear enough. This is actually a three-dimensional imprint. It actually comes up off of the mug. It's kind of hard to see in the picture, but it's really cool. I actually went to see this vendor and their processing and their equipment and all that kind of stuff of how they do this. But this is in our industry with hard items like they do on wood, on mugs, on anything hard. But it's three-dimensional. So this is a cool concept for restaurants to use. That will, enhance your brand. So I've been doing this again for 20 years. I hope that I can help you. My company, again, is Creative Business Impressions, 561-308-1393. And I'm putting my information in the chat right now.
Yeah. And tell us how we can reach you.
561-308-1393.
Okay, thank you. Azalea, good morning.
Good morning, guys. My name is Asalia. I am a business broker and commercial realtor. If people are looking to buy a restaurant or sell a restaurant or lease a space that's a restaurant space, I work with them. My number is, I just wrote it down here so I wouldn't forget, 786-457-2796. And I agree with what one of the three amigos was saying. My restaurant operators, their biggest headache is always employees. The employee was rude. The employee, after 2 years, recently, 2 years of training him, the guy walked out from one day to the next, and there's nothing you can do. So we kind of did this to ourselves, let the robots take over. I have a new client from this week. He has a bubble tea robot in Vegas, and he's looking to open down here in South Florida. And it's a pretty little robot that will make bubble tea. And it's the novelty, and the robot is not going to do any of the bad stuff that the employees do. So I think there's something there, definitely.
Right.
The robotics industry right now has to come up with a hibachi chef. There is a shortage of hibachi chefs in the industry.
Yeah, good luck. Well, fire and that would be funny. That would be something to watch.
And,
Yeah,
and if the
chefs have to be funny.
if
So
the
how
ro-
do you get
if
the computer to be funny?
if the robot gets mad, it'll start flinging rice at everybody.
Yeah, you know how they make the volcanoes and then they make them blow up. I think it would be cute. It would be very funny to watch that.
Well, let's go to the robotics master, Darren. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Actually, I believe there actually are in Japan. They are working on hibachi chefs as robots, so it is not that far-fetched. So anything that can be done in a systematic process, like you said, Howard, being able to read Braille, a computer is going to always be faster than a human because it knows the language, it knows the letters. It's always going to be faster than a human would be, and that's really what AI does. Is it tries to parse that between what is simple algorithms and creates algorithms and learns from input into create even more complex algorithms. And that's how robots are becoming smarter and smarter. I mean, even in the FRC team I work with, we are using sensors and cameras to identify objects, distance to the object, angle of object, etc., and how we pick it up. So there's a lot that these kids are learning this in high school. So imagine what they're going to be doing by the time they're in college. But for my day job, I'm with Tracy.net. We're a communications consulting and solution provider. What does that mean? We help people with their communication needs. It'll come later. I have a great answer for your later question of what should they do before they pick a location, but it's all about knowing what internet services are available, so you can make sure you've got high-speed internet to run your business. All of your communications needs, that's what we help you find. So bring us in early. We can help you find the best pricing on the best products to meet your solutions. For the restaurant industry, we help eliminate busy signals. So for those small restaurants that can't afford multiple phone lines, we come in cheaper than 1 or 2 lines from any provider and give you up to 10 lines into the cloud, as well as a full line, 4-line solution, including all the equipment, the handsets, everything. So if you know anybody struggling with their communications needs, it's tracy.net, traci.net. It's not somebody's name. It's an acronym for transmit, receive, and communicate information. It was accurate when we were founded in 1987. It's still accurate today. You can reach us online at www.tracy.net. Our toll free is 800-881-8899, or you can email sales@tracy.net.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to John Marinek. Good morning.
Good morning. I did look this up for you, John. Coca-Cola includes a coca leaf extract as an ingredient prepared by Steepen Company plant in Maywood, New Jersey. And this coca plant, it's a type of drug, and it says the plant is exclusively in northern and western South America. Colombia is now the main producer.
So there's a shocker.
Yeah, no, and also it's still used in the as like an addictive type part of it. And I was shocked when I found out about it in Jersey. I actually had to go over and see the plant, and they won't let you near the plant. You can't get through.
Wow.
So what you're saying is, John, they have high security?
They do have high security there. Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
I went for it and everything. One
Don't
of the
worry.
things, what's that, Terry?
I did too.
Oh, man. One of the things that I'm hearing about this AI and everything, um, we're trying to describe in the industry right now what is really like robotics versus automation. And automation has been around forever. And now that's a lot of what we're bringing in. When we're speaking about robotics and everything, that's doing the whole process from beginning to end, not as, we can bottle products like Coca-Cola and things like that. And is that really a robot or is that automation? So that's a big controversy that's starting in the industry because we have nothing better to argue about. But uh, anyway, I was at a conference about it. And Azalea, I would like to say thank you very much. She gave me a lead, and it's moving forward, I think, a little bit, and we'll get there. So everybody get to know her, man. She's going to be on the move.
Great.
And anyway, I'm John Marinick, Marinick Food Service Consultants, and we design restaurants and anything with food. So if you'd like to eat, give me a call. And we do not sell the equipment, but we design and we consult and help people out. 954-817-1183. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Terry Lena, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. And this conversation makes me think that maybe this workwear business is going to go out of business because nobody's going to be wearing uniforms. Everything's going to be robotic.
Robots have to look good too, Terry.
It's funny though. I just want to say this: our distribution center was always employees and handpicked, and they got paid a really great salary in Nashville, Tennessee. And because of the labor shortage, they had to bring in an automated system because they just couldn't get the people to work. So this really is affecting the industries. For me, for workwear, though, I will say our chefware, we manufacture front of the house, back of the house apparel in multiple industries. But for our chefware, we did come out with an oil block technology that not only repels the oils in the kitchen, but it made the fabric more breathable. And everyone that's been in this industry knows how hot those kitchens can be. So that just developing innovative product is really helping us stay above our competition. So it's Workwear Outfitters, and you can reach me at 720-244-4972.
Just a quick comment on Terry's stuff. We use their Red Cap line for our robotics team, and it really does repel oil. It washes right out. I mean, it's amazing how clean it gets. And we used to use another brand prior, and it's much more breathable and much cooler. So we're not sweating as much as we were in the pits. So, Terry, I just want to comment. Everything you're saying is true. Your product is amazing.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. We're glad to be able to sponsor.
I didn't mention this earlier, but we are starting a new feature in our monthly newspaper, and we're going to be featuring a different city every month. And actually, our first city, Terry Lena, you still with us? Our first city is going to be Nashville. So I think Terry Lena and Terry Appel should hook up and get some information on.
Oh, thanks for that. Sorry, I had a quick take a call and tell them I'll call them right back.
Okay.
So that's awesome in Nashville. That's where our corporate office is. So
right.
Yeah,
so yeah, we're going to get some information on the company and probably do a little internal feature on that.
Great.
Okay. Gabby, good morning.
Morning. I was starting to think that I was a redheaded stepchild. Um,
Aw.
so the reason why we're in business is because of employee issues. So if you're not ready to start buying robots, you can actually give us a call. We are a full service PEO and we automate your entire back office and get your employees to be happy again. We give you access to employee health benefits, worker accessible and cheap workers' comp, 401k without having to contribute, um, and even HR consulting. The employee health benefits, you can have as little or as much of the employee health benefits. We have a product that requires no contribution, so it's very accessible, especially for smaller businesses. Um, and as far as like employee issues, we actually have HR consultation that is included in an administration fee. So we can actually help you and hold your hand while you're dealing with those employee issues. And have them be happy again. The entire back office has a portal for the employees so they can actually go and do self-serve on their pay stubs, the and letters for if they need a loan or something like that. We actually create that in the back office. So Gabby with Worksite PEO 561-479-7474.
Okay, thank you. John Bond, good morning, the master chef.
Good morning, everyone. With the robotics, we're seeing a lot more companies with interest in it. We've got 3 projects right now. As you can see over my shoulder here, it's real simple to use the machine. But again, even in all the different industries and packaging and manufacturing processes, they cannot get the employees. The cost of it, depending upon the company, how long they really want to be in business, but your ROI, you don't have all the problems like everybody's been saying. And they do it on a timely basis. Unfortunately, humans will get tired and they'll start slowing down. They'll be great in the morning. They're great right after lunch, but before lunch and before they leave, production slows down. It's not consistent. We've had automation in our company for years, but everybody kind of went, well, we don't want to go that route. We'll just get a standard machine. Now we're seeing where they finally really, truly are going to start using robotics because you can grab the product, put it inside the machine, and it's consistent. Whereas you can't get your speed out of the equipment with humans. And like everybody says, hey, they're there every day, 24/7, doesn't matter. I've got a customer that hires people and they do over 9,000 cycles on a machine a day. They make loops for the motor industry to hang the windings to go through a varnish. And they can't get people to sit there and do that all day long. From 8 a.m. until 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they're doing anywhere between 9,000 cycles to 12,000 cycles. And there's such a huge demand just to make this product for them. And they use a special twine in the machine. As you can see, it's quick and it's easy, but they just can't get people to do it. But my name's John Bunn with the BH Bunn Company. The machine was first developed back in 1907. As you can see how it ties right over my shoulder again. It's tried and true. They're tanks. They're bulletproof. We got machines out there running from 1929, and they still can buy some parts for them. Constantly getting calls from the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, machines out there running, and customers just love them. In the restaurant side of things, we can secure your bundles. Plastic bags are on the way out in a lot of countries and a lot of states. Actually, New Zealand and Australia, 0 single-use plastic by 2025. That's bags, that's forks, knives, spoons, straws, everything. Even your twist ties, your bread clips. Canada doesn't have bread clips anymore. They're all made from cardboard, not plastic. So our machine uses environment-friendly materials. So it's good for the environment, always has been. You can reach us at 1-800-222-BUNN, B-U-N-N. Our website is buntyco.com, spelled BUNNTYCO.com. Stands for Bunn Tying Company. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. TRN Terry.
Thank you. And for John Bunn's intro, the most important thing to me that I've always remembered when he did his intro was that the slogan that Darren up there gave him, food should be tied and not tried. It cannot be duplicated. So if somebody's delivering a pizza or a box of cookies, it cannot open it and retie it. So the person on the other end would know that it had been opened, since that cannot be duplicated by hand. And I always remembered that. So I just wanted to throw that in. I'm Terry with today's restaurant news, handling the monthly lead reports. Just a little quick thing today. For the last 2 days, we had somebody that came on to our website, signed up for a free sample. Now they are in Australia. So we thought, yeah, right. Okay, so I sent them the free sample minus the email addresses and all of that. We've been going back and forth. And he said, you mean to tell me that you can guarantee in writing that amount of leads every month in Florida? I said, absolutely. He said, so you mean to tell me in a separate email that I'm going to get like 600, 700, 800 leads new every single year for that amount of money? I said, absolutely. Now, these are the new prices. Back and forth, back and forth. He's taking the leads. He looked all over the US, couldn't find anything comparable to what we have. And on that note, the leads will be out around the 9th or 10th at the latest for Florida. And they're working on Georgia. Those are now out about the 15th. We did have another renewal in Georgia. So if anybody wanted a sample, Terry at trnusa.com. Thank you. Have a good week.
And our resident restaurateur / caterer, Helen, good morning.
Hi, I'm Helen Gottesman. I'm president of Delicious Spoonfuls Florida Inc., which is a nonprofit ice cream shop that is mobile. And our focus is training and employing people with special needs. We are looking for some pop-up locations, so I'll be hopefully talking to Azalea very soon and see if she has any brainstorms. And we are setting up some more interviews with some prospective employees, and also some new locations to do our events. And I was noticing, considering the discussion we had earlier today, that some of the other ice cream businesses that I've spoken with or seen on Facebook groups, they're seeing that high school and college kids that work for them don't know how to make change of $1. They don't know the coins.
Yeah.
And this is typical kids. They don't know if the bill comes to $10.37, how do you make change from $15 or $11? It's just beyond them. And I'm like, I did that when I was 11 working in my father's shop. It's not complicated. Nowadays, you even have it on the register. You could put in tendered amount. But it's really sad. And the one thing that I'm thinking that people need to know is when you set up your projections, when you're starting the business, you don't realize that a new business, how long you're going to be paying for things and not be able to bring in any sales. So you have to have multiples of what you think you need in advance for your numbers. You don't think about possibly paying rent on something before you can open your doors, and that you know, to get your payroll set up and all your promotional stuff set in place and your phones and your everything else. It costs money. And people have no idea about that.
Well, that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to give them the idea.
Yeah, I'm finding out the hard way because we finished technically our first year yesterday as a nonprofit officially with the state. And everywhere you turn, somebody else wants 500 for this and 300 for that. And then I didn't have that agreement. Oh, and we'll see about giving you back the 300. We'll see about giving you back the 600. And you're like, I have other bills to pay, you know.
All right.
And
Well,
people don't realize that they're going to be going through that.
I want to pose the question again to you, and if you can answer it in a bulletized format so that, because we're really short on time. The question is, if you have a close friend who is contemplating opening up a restaurant, what advice would you give them? Which we know that. What advice would you give them? And I want to segment it right now to prior to selection of the site. There are so many things that have to be done prior to. So whoever's got I know Chris.
Darren?
Chris has his hand up, and Darren's got one. I know.
Yeah, Chris was first.
Go ahead, Chris. Bulletize it.
Howard?
I'll bulletize it as best I can. The first thing you have to do is actually have a menu figured out. You have to be able to know what your portions are going to be. You have to know what the ingredients are going to be, because you have to have a list of inventory products to be able to cost everything out, to ultimately know what does it take from a labor standpoint to make it, so that you can understand your cost of sales and labor to get to a profit model. Because if you don't start with a profit model, you could go get a site you can't afford to lease. You have to do that. The other thing, to Helen's point, you have to do a pre-opening budget. There's the cost of construction, buying equipment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But there's also the cost of hiring, recruiting and hiring employees, training employees, cost of recruiting and hiring managers. All of these are carrying costs that you have before you open your doors. In the casual dining world, the kind of restaurants I spent the bulk of my career in, we typically had $250,000 budgeted for pre-opening. $250,000 for hiring employees, training employees, having a these were companies, so we paid for training staff to actually go to the location. But she's correct. The cost out of pocket to open before you start is enormous. The next thing is you need to plan on up to a year to get to being profitable. So you need operating capital sufficient to carry you through that first year.
Right.
That's as bulletized as I can get, but I can give you a list of 487 specific steps.
I'm sure we can. You hit some of the big ones. Go ahead, Darren. Then we'll go to Terry Ark.
Yeah, I think that first and foremost, and we see this not just in restaurants, but you need to know what bandwidth is available. I've seen many businesses, including restaurants, that open in an area without checking first what internet they can get, and they're stuck on DSL, which DSL is just not good enough to run a business on. So to reach out to a company like ours that can actually run and say, here's where the fiber maps are, here's where the people are, here's where the high-speed internet is prior, that's extremely important, because you need it for everything from your security cameras to your phones to your online ordering system. You don't want to be stuck with inadequate bandwidth. What Chris said is 100% right. The other thing is also knowing, once you have that menu, finding a place where that menu will be desired. So don't open in a neighborhood that isn't going to support what you're trying to sell. Know your audience, as they say. I think that's extremely important as well.
Okay, Terry Ark.
I want to add to both Chris and Darren. All of those things are very, very important. I remember when I was going to a lot of the franchise industries, there used to be a company that actually would help you to figure out where's a good place to open up your business. And so, which goes along with Darren. I want to add to it, however, that also one of the things that you have to do is find all of the inexpensive resources that you can so that you can advertise a grand opening. No matter what you do, if nobody knows you're going to do it, you're in trouble. It's going to take longer.
Amen.
Do a grand opening. Facebook has so many groups there's all kinds of we have our local one in here in Boca that is all about restaurants. That every single area of the United States is going to have some sort of online something that you can advertise for your grand opening and get things that you can, my industry, put things in people's hands, but advertise your grand opening.
Well, like Chris said, the menu is the driving force behind a lot of things that you don't normally think of. I'm going to give you a crazy example. If you're opening up an Italian restaurant versus a Chinese restaurant, a Chinese restaurant's going to be using 2, 3, 4, 5-hole wok stoves, which are very much larger than a 6-burner range. So what that creates is a bigger kitchen area that creates a larger hood. I'm talking in John Marinek's territory here. If you want to jump in, John. So the menu is the driving force behind a lot of these decisions.
What I always tell people is all of these things that everybody's speaking about right now are so important before you even think about opening a restaurant.
Right.
I tell people overhead. Overhead is your number one killer. I took a bakery just recently that went ahead, has been established for years, and then they went ahead and they said, we're being kicked out of our place because they raised the rent. And I said, yeah, because you have high overhead, and that's going to add to it. So then what we did was we took a look at exactly what oven did they really need. Did they need that monster oven that they've had for years? They really didn't. There's newer equipment that's out there. There's better equipment. We actually took their space and cut it down about a third of what they had. And we reduced the labor and the overhead. And that's the stuff, that's what, when the pandemic hit, the people that had the least amount of overhead were the ones that succeeded. Okay, so you got to look at your overhead. And I tell people, I want to know exactly if I have a sandwich unit, I want to know exactly what's going in each one of those bins. And when you ask those people, they don't know. I want to know what ingredients are going where and what and how. And it takes a little extra time, but the thing is, that's the difference between a 6-foot sandwich unit and a 4-foot sandwich unit.
Right.
And that's money and also space and labor. Everything's involved with that. So whenever you go to open a restaurant, the number one thing is overhead in any way you can. Get that menu laid out, figure out exactly where everything's going to go, and then get somebody who's on your team. Put together a team that cares about you and not just that they came out of high school and decided to design restaurants. Because there's a reason for sizing things correctly, walk-in coolers and everything else. Sorry, I can keep going on for days on this.
I know.
Hey,
That's
okay.
That's
No,
smart.
John, you're 100% right. Just because you got a menu and you think you can apply some equipment to it, it's about right equipment for right capacity and menu mix. And that determines square footage and hood capacity and HVAC. And there's so many things. Yeah. The other thing I would say real quick, you have to do financial modeling on your entire business. Worst case, most likely, best case scenario, pro formas, so you understand financially what you're getting into.
Mark, you have a bullet?
Yeah, a lot of people don't do, and I'm just as guilty, but if you want a good surviving business, start with a good business plan first. Your business plan is going to have everything you're talking about in it. Then you could look at your business plan and determine, is this feasible or not? I don't want to waste my time. So put the money and the time into business plan to see exactly what you're dealing with.
Hey, Howard.
Yes.
If anybody wants this, I have a list. Since I do commercial real estate here in Georgia, I have a list of the top 20 things to do when starting a new business. Actually, number 9 is looking for the location. So my little nugget here is get with a good commercial real estate person to look for your space.
Right.
that is tied in with the food business itself.
Well,
continuing on that, I feel like it's important to stay open-minded, especially down here in South Florida with DERM and the permits and the licenses. I talk to people, and yesterday I spoke to a guy. He's like, I want to buy a space. I want to buy a space, like an operating restaurant. It would be like the business brokerage side. And I'm telling him I have a space that the leasing agent told me it's operating. It has a hood and a grease trap, fully permitted. You don't have to pay key money. And he's traumatized because his friend had to build out a restaurant and has been closed for a year. So I think just stay open-minded. Like
Flexibility.
Yeah, like I can look at this restaurant that's fully built out and I can make it work and I didn't pay key money. And sometimes that doesn't make sense. Sometimes you should pay somebody $150,000, get them out of the way and operate your business. But I talk to so many people that they're close-minded. They're just like, no, this happened to my friend, so I am willing to pay $100,000. And even if I find them the perfect space, they're not open to it. They don't want second generation. They want to pay for it. So just stay open to, when you work with a professional, like he said, like stay open to the options that come to you, because it may be perfect and you don't have to spend a bunch of money. So
add to that, I think in continuing with that subject, partnering up with someone in delegating is also crucial, because you're not going to know everything, and there might be people out there that are subject matter experts on the specific thing that it needs to be done. And in my field, I find a lot of business owners that are scared of outsourcing or giving, putting part of their business into somebody else's hand. And granted, it's your business, but finding the right partner will help you achieve success, and can even actually get you out of a lot of troubles in the future, a lot of issues and a lot of illegal issues, if that. So finding the right partners, the right associates, the right people to work with will actually help you in the long run.
Yeah, there's a reason that saying two heads are better than one is effective. So yeah. And to add to what Azalea said, would probably to me be a really good time to find a previous restaurant location, because of all of the restaurants that closed during COVID.
I just want to build off of what Gabby said too, and that's the importance of the groups that Howard and Terry run. People start a business to do something they're passionate about. And so most people who want to open a restaurant, they have a passionate idea, great recipe. That's what they think they're going to build it on. They need to surround themselves with trusted experts in the areas that they're not thinking of. So Howard, by assembling this group, you're assembling that team that can guide them through that process. And I think that's the ultimate answer.
Exactly. And John will attest to this. Years ago, I was when I had my business in New York, I designed a kitchen for an Italian restaurant, and I told the people up front, I'm going to design this kitchen for any Italian restaurant, not specifically for your chef, because your chef may have certain requirements that don't fit any other location, and they wanted it built the way they wanted it, so the customer's always right. So I designed it the way they wanted. And I told them, your chef will come in on Monday, he'll be gone by Friday. And that's exactly what happened. And they ended up with a kitchen that was built for that particular chef. So
one of my nuggets in commercial real estate, and most of people don't do this, go in with your exit strategy already in place.
What?
Yeah. So think about this. Walmart, for example, they put the plumbing so close together, they know they're not always going to be a Walmart. So they have the plumbing so close together so they can turn it into apartments.
Really?
Exit strategy when you walk in the door.
Right.
10 years from now, what am I going to do? Am I going to sell this restaurant? What are we going to use it for?
That's all
John is 150% correct on that
point. A business owner and an investor, if you're thinking as an investor, you're actually giving yourself the chance to turn over that business. And if it's extremely successful, you can sell it, whatever the case is, but it puts you in a different mindset.
Yeah, we do with our billboards every project. We know what we're going to do with those billboards.
I got to run. It was a great meeting. I hope you guys have a great weekend. See you all next week.
Yeah, we'll see you all next week. If anybody wants to reach us and get more information about this segment of opening a restaurant prior to its selection of site, give us a call at 561-620-8888 or go to our website at trnusa.com. Again, go to our YouTube channel, Today's Restaurant, and you can see this meeting and you can show it to your partner. And we'll see you all again next week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and let the sauce be with you.